Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. It is Thursday night, and that means it's time for the ANZCAR Cup. Yes, we are in the playoff season, and it is time for Talladega, round 31 of 36 of the season, and we are getting ready for tonight. We've just, 10 races to go to find a champion. Tonight could be pivotal in finding who that could be. I'm, as ever, Mr. Carl Wilkinson. Joining me up here in the booth, I have Mark Johansson. And Mark, this is really a important time for the playoffs.
It most certainly is, Carl. We've got another two guys that will lose their position very shortly. And tonight is a place where you kind of sort of have to fall under the lucky star, but you also have to make your own luck too. And it's super speedway racing at its best at Talladega.
Absolutely. This could be the chance for somebody to get into the playoffs who might not have been having the best season so far. And grabbing that opportunity by the horns is Mr. Matty Ray taking pole position tonight for SRM with Tom Pritchard on his outside. Row number 2 sees Ruben Phelps and Norman Clark lining up next to each other. Ryan Jones sits next to teammate Stevie Dub on row number 3. Returning Jamie Nankervis sits on row 4 with Dave Douglas on his outside. Row 5 sees Jai Schultz and Kobe Jordan lining up next to each other. Row number 6 is Lachlan Okwio with Phil Otto. Shane Bowen and Andrew Dyson make up row number 7. It's Luke Crubb and Neil Pearson on row 8. Row 9 we've got Raymond Yeager with Christopher Tomlin. Justin Witcher and Joshua Carroll-Walden make up row number 10. And rounding out the field tonight, it's Brad Finley and Noddy Tompkins. So 22 cars strong here tonight. An opportunity for a fair few drivers to get a chance in this race. And look, getting a victory could be really, really crucial for somebody who's just sitting towards the end of the playoffs. And those drivers currently are Jai Schultz, Norman Clark, Lachlan Okwio, Dave Douglas. They're sort of sitting down in the lower rungs of the playoff area. Matty Ray sits ahead of them, of course, and then it's Neil Pearson and Andrew Dyson. Neil Pearson, Ruben Phelps, and of course Andrew Dyson, who finds himself with that win last time out, feeling nice and secure there.
Yeah, definitely. Look, Norman Clark would definitely be looking for a good finish tonight to move himself up. As he said, Carl, Jamie Nankervis has jumped back in and to help his teammate in the 09 to hopefully get himself into a better position in the playoff.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be really, really useful for them. So hopefully we can see somebody getting some good moments tonight, and we could see somebody very happy with their spot in the playoffs. So let's see how this one runs out for tonight. Of course, coming round, it is a nice long circuit here at Talladega Super Speedway, of course, so watch for the drafting action. Teammates are going to be crucial here as we come around turn 4 for the first time tonight. On the formation lap, the green flag will be going down relatively shortly as they get to the tri-oval section here at this marvellous track in Alabama. So coming up to the line, we are going to be going green very, very shortly. I'm going to shut up. Let's enjoy these cars roaring around here at Talladega Super Speedway for this round 5 of the playoffs. It's race 31 of 36 here at Talladega. As lap one is underway, it's Matty Ray in the lead. Ruben Phelps taking the low line. They're trying to shuttle around some positions there. Ryan Jones nipping in quickly. Matty Ray's going to be dropping back here, I reckon, getting towards the tail of the field as he jumps out in line. Up on the high line there goes a few more cars sitting in the middle at the moment. Matty Ray, Stevie Dub, Dave Douglas fly around his outside, and then he falls back further towards Andrew Dyson at the tail of the field. And we are in super speedway mode. So Matty Ray wanting to jump to the back of the field there, keep himself clean and out of trouble for this part of the race, obviously. Not wanting to run up the front this early. Ruben Phelps will be happy though, because that gives him a bonus point as well. And these bonus points can be useful things to have, of course. But it is the winning that's going to be an important part for the playoffs this season.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we've seen there that Ruben has now jumped back up into the high line. But one good thing is that the two Black Arrow cars of Norman Clark and Jamie Nankervis have finally linked up, and they are sitting in second and third at the moment. So it's good to see those two teammates linked up. Just looking at the other SRM cars, Lachlan Earthio sitting there in the top 10, sitting in 9th at the moment. So he'll be looking to keep moving forward.
Yeah, it looks like Ruben Phelps has dropped back as well down the lineup too. So he got a couple of laps in the lead and now decided to drop it out. And Ryan Jones for DPR now moves up into the lead position. And is going to be sitting there. Stevie Dub leads the high line as well, so DPR controlling both lines at the moment. Dave Douglas wanted to get a little bit of a shake on as well. He's giving Stevie Dub a bit of a push, little bit of bump drafting going on through the packs, but this is what we expect to see for a few laps here as they all get lined up ready for, well, just a bit of drafting racing. There's not much point in leading this early on unless you want to grab a couple of bonus points, because leading a pack like this is only going to hurt you in the long run as it chews up your fuel.
Yeah, definitely. And we see Phil Otto there jump down and make a third line. So we are now 3 wide and typical Talladega.
Absolutely. And that third line is being pushed along by JCW at the moment. He is flying along. Christopher Tomlin back there too. He's dropped down to that low line. So it's just 2 cars now, and that's going to hurt them as they lose support. JCW doing an enormous push to Phil Otto at the moment. He could possibly get Phil into the lead. Will Phil be able to hold on to it? Oh, they get squirrely there. Phil's getting a good run now as he just gets in front of Ryan Jones. JCW gets hung out to dry. And Otto comes down into the lead of the race.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, Cole. I'm just having a few sound issues here. The mic's jumping in and out, so but it looks like it's settled itself down now. We see also there on the bottom line, Christopher Tomlin and Joy Schultz are linking up there on that bottom line. So yeah, everyone will be just settling down. They don't want to be pushing too hard to start with, and we can see 2 distinctive lines. So the boys will just settle down, probably do 50 laps like this, and then it may start to get a little bit more aggressive, and we'll see teammates try and hook up with each other. But as we said early in the before the race got underway, Norman Clark definitely needs a great result, and I dare say he'll try and stay up in that top 10 all race to make the other guys around him really work for the points. And his teammates still sitting right behind him in the 8 car, Jamie Nankervis.
Yeah, absolutely. This could be a good opportunity for Norman Clark tonight. Stormin' Norman, he could find himself in a good position. And Dab had at super speedways as well. He's very good at keeping himself in a good position in a race like this and keeping himself relatively out of trouble as well. And that's going to be a key feature of tonight, just keeping out of trouble, keeping yourself in a position where you're not going to end up getting caught by others, where you can sort of keep yourself in your car clean. That's going to be a crucial thing as well. Is, damage can be really painful on a super speedway. Just a little bit of aero damage to the front of these cars can act like a parachute. Meanwhile, we've got Dave Douglas doing his usual job of pushing at the moment. giving JCW a big push up on the high line with Christopher Tomlin, Tom Pritchard just behind him. So pushing along nicely at the moment, and then Lachlan Akpio coming along with Stevie Dubb as well. So that high line starting to form up a little bit now with some extra cars, and that's also an important thing to have. The more cars you've got in a line here, the better it's going to go. JCW decides he's had enough, has he? As Dave Douglas just gets out of line there, jumps up to the high line. He's going to start dropping back now, as he's really hugging the wall up there, doing a great job of keeping that car in just the right spot. But he's going to drop to the back of this pack now and see who else he can work with.
Yeah, a little bit split, spread out in that high line. No one really wants to get up there and work with JCW at the moment. The other guys are hanging back, but Brad Penley in the VB cars got up there and looks like he's going to make a row of a run of 3. And Andrew Dyson and Dave Douglas is slowly catching those front 3 cars on that high line. But they definitely need a few more cars up there to help that outside line move forward.
Yeah, strength in numbers is crucial on a track like this one, and not really having too many sort of cars up there. Brad Fenley getting a run as well. He's just had a mega run behind Dave Douglas, trying to squeeze his way up towards the front in the VB car there. And we're getting close with Dice as well. Dice is just having to ease out a moment just to get Finley down, but they're starting to get a good run now on that high line. Starting to move forwards. JCW once again leading this pack of cars and coming up nicely there. Tom Pritchard as well. We know he's got some speed. He was on the front row tonight. He's going to see what he can do up there. And now Andrew Dyson for the first time tonight coming up towards the front of the field and working his way to the front. And look, he would be very happy to secure a second win in the playoffs, I am sure. And, well, make it a little bit harder for all the other drivers to get through. So at the moment it's Phil Osso leading at the low line. He is up ahead of Ryan Jones, Norman Clark, Jamie Nankervis and Christopher Tomlin. They are running on the low line. On the high line it's JCW with Tom Pritchard, Andrew Dyson, Dave Douglas and Brad Fenley. So not a huge amount of cars choosing to run the high line at the moment, and not too much speed coming up high as well. But I'm sure as the race goes on, that high line will start to liven up a little bit. And when we get to those final few laps, when we get to that lap 80, that high line will come alive as people will be trying their damnedest to get to the front of the field.
Yeah, definitely got to get that more cars up in that high line. But everyone at the moment is just happy to sit where they are. And like you said, Carl, around lap 80, you may find a lot more cars try and jump up in that high line and get it moving forward. But I dare say we will see guys swapping changes as the race goes on, and as more rubber goes down on that high line. It tends to be the more favourable line around here.
Yeah, it's who can get things working, and that's always a crucial thing with races like this. If people can get it working well, then all of a sudden people start to panic, and if you start seeing that high line working, everybody else will jump to the high line as well. So, you know, it's just so many different little quirks of the racing.
Yeah, definitely is. The other person that's in the danger of dropping out of the playoffs, Guy Schultz. He's not doing too bad at the moment. He's sitting there in the seventh spot, sixth spot now. So he's been able to move himself in front of JCW on that high line. But you'd be happy there at the moment, Carl. 3 Toyotas nose to tail in Tomlin, Schultz and Crum.
Absolutely, good to see the Toyotas having a good run up there tonight. And you know, we've always got to cheer on the underdogs. It's always important. But good to see them working together at the moment. And the field of, the vast majority of Fords and Chevys out there tonight. But we have got a couple of Toyotas lurking around out there, which is always good to see. So as we get on, it's lap 14 here of 90, 76 laps to go. And, as the race goes on as well, as people are going to start thinking about the fuel strategy, Mark, as well. And, Talladega is one of those places, 35 laps, I think, from memory.
Yeah, it's normal.
Fuel gauge.
Yeah, depending if you're out front and the race is hard, you can between 32 and 36 is the round figure. They'll come in. Talladega isn't too bad on tyres, but I'd say why they're covering off. Some of them will take tyres, some of them won't worry about it, and Bill Otto's now just coming up on Noddy Tompkins. And it's good to see Noddy back out there. I think it's only about his third week back now after some illness, and trying to get his eye back in, and he's doing well, moving down off the racing surface on that low line, getting out of the road of everyone, and unfortunately that will put him a lap down.
Yeah, he's dropped off the pack, unfortunately, for Noddy, but he also had a bit of a moment coming in out of turn 2 on about lap 11. And he's got a little bit of front end damage to that car, so that's going to be a painful thing to drive around tonight, because that drops the speed off by an enormous amount. Phil Otto's going around about 305 kilometers per hour, and Noddy's about 280, and that's just because he's out of the pack action, and it's so much speed difference when you're out there. You it blows you away a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. And talking about speed, we can see that that high line really dropping back down to around midfield now, just outside of the top 10 those cars are. So the low line is definitely the way to go at the moment, but everyone just sitting there and behaving themselves. But again, we will see a big one. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, that's always the thing on a super speedway. The big one is always lurking around the corner. You don't know when it's going to come. You don't know how it's going to come, but it will always appear. Unless it doesn't, of course, but that's very rare. And, it's just having the knowledge of where to position the car can be crucial in a situation like that. But a lot of it is just down to pure luck. If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, there is not much you can do to stop an accident happening on a super speedway. These cars, they have not got the sharpest brakes out there, so it's not easy to pull the car up from 300 odd kilometers per hour to a standstill when a car's wrecking in front of you, and you often get taken out from behind if you do slam on the brakes. So there's so many little things you've got to think of. You've got to really be watching out for it lap after lap, and that's what Matty Ray and Ruben Phelps have done by just dropping to the back of the pack, just to try and get themselves in a position where if the big one does come, they're in a little bit more of an advantageous spot to avoid it. Of course, usually the best place to be is, JCW cuts down onto the low line and really forces himself into that position, dropping in front of Crum. So very, very much forcing himself down into that position there, and that's just caused a huge check-up in the pack.
Definitely has, and good reaction there from Crum to pull that Toyota up and not run into the back of him, because that gap was closing as JC jumped in there. So very well done by Mr. Crum.
And that's what we were talking about with a big one happening, because it just takes a little moment like that, just a wrong move, and all of a sudden it is over and done with. Now the high line's getting some really good momentum, as that low line got all checked up, all broken up, with all of the cars wobbling out of position as they just had to lift off a little bit, and it's caused the front of the spear just to slow down a little bit as well. It's given the opportunity to Tom Pritchard up on the high line. He's getting pushed by Dyson, Dave Douglas and Fenley at the moment, and they're coming along strong. They've got, I think, Matty Ray coming up behind them Justin Mitchell, coming up quick behind them as well. So that high line started to get some momentum there, but now it's starting to drop off a little bit. So the ebbs and flows of super speedway racing there, just showing how quick it can go wrong and how quick it can come your way. And Pritchard just decided to stay up on that high line as well. He did probably have a couple of moments where he could have dropped down in front of Otto, but he decided to stay up high and keep there for the moment.
Yeah, look, some guys are, you know yourself, Carl. You get into a rhythm, you get into a preferred where you prefer to run, and that's where you tend to sit. So that, you know, those guys there, we've seen Pritchard and Dyson normally run that mid to high line, and as we say, that Pritchard's dropped down in behind Jamie Nankervis in the fifth position there. So that's now left Dyson, Douglas, Finley, and Luke Crum and Kobe Jordan has now joined. No, they've decided to drop back down. So now that's just left the 3 cars on that high line, and they will struggle. I would dare say they will drop back towards the back of the field. You know, everyone just wants to get to the end of this race, get through that first service period, and then I think we may, as I said earlier, we may see the aggression level to go up a couple of notches. Then around lap 80, we'll really see the guys really turn it on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way of the super speedway, and getting your positions right and getting the ebb and flow, getting yourself in those spots, and that high line is really sticking up there. Dyson is staying up high, so is Dave Douglas. They want to be on that high line, but not many people are supporting them at the moment, and that is causing some problems for them to get a good run here. They're not doing bad though. They are pushing along nicely, keeping themselves in a decent position, so they could find themselves in a spot as this race goes on to sort of jot down and or sort of stay up there and keep running. But of course, running up high, when it comes to green flag stops, that's when it can cause a bit of a problem, because you find yourself in a position where you can't come into the pit lane because there is a big stream of cars underneath you, and none of them are going to slow down to let you drop in, and they are all going to be racing hard, and you can find yourself hung up to dry up there.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you're having a few problems with your training paints, Carl, but tonight we've got a few cars out there with some new paint schemes on it. The 080 Kobe Jordan, that's the a takeoff from the Quaker Stake 28 car from early in the 2000s. So that's well presented. We also all 4 Toyotas are supporting new paint schemes tonight. So it's good to see the guys are changing it up a little bit. As we see on screen there at the moment, the 27 of Jai Schultz. That's a very different paint scheme for him. Christopher Tomlin in the 212. He's got a nice livery. Can't quite make out what's on the bonnet there. It looks like a bit of a cartoon. And Luke Crum in the, if I can get my camera to work for me. Luke Crum in the 030. Nice lime green. I believe it's the New Holland on the bonnet.
I can't help you out at all, Mark.
I know. That's why I'm taking this one on myself. Yeah, it's the New Holland tractors. So a nice lime green car there for Luke Crum. So well done to those guys. And I have been told, Carl, we are at Martinsville. It's the closest race to the All Hallows Eve, aka Halloween. And I do know that I have been led into a few little paint schemes, and there's going to be a few guys running the Halloween paint scheme for us.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some of the Halloween entries. We see a few drivers deciding to mix it up for All Hallows Eve, getting the old pagan love out there. Always nice to see. Meanwhile, Motor Tompkins about to go down another lap here as he's really fallen off, and it just shows just how much you lose when you're not in the pack. It is very painful indeed, and you just drop down position after position. We're on board with Dave Douglas at the moment, and he is going to soon find Noddy Tompkins go streaming past him. Probably say in this next corner or two. Noddy's sitting up on the high line at the moment. Will he stay up high? Will they go down the middle? We'll find out in a moment. Noddy's going to stick it up high. So on the right-hand side, you're going to see Noddy Tompkins go flashing by as they go 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. Tompkins sticking it up there and holding on tight as that side draft hits him hard. But they all make it through nice and clean. And it's given a little bit of a run for that high line as well. Now it's Andrew Dyson gets a huge run up towards the front. Does he drop down in front of Otto? No, he's going to stick it up high still. So Dyson's still keeping up high with Dave Douglas. And that high line is, well, they seem pretty happy up there. And that's always nice to see. And as we're talking about, you get into a rhythm, you get into a feel of these cars. And sometimes if you switch to the low line, it's a very different line to drive, and it can throw you out a little bit and cause problems. But Dyson is being pushed along at the moment. Big bump drive from Dave Douglas, who does switch to the low line with Dyso there. Brad Fenley being hung out to dry now. He is going to be left up on that high line with Kobe Jordan, and can't quite see who that is in at the background.
308.
Yep, Shane Bowen there, and they're trying to come along as well. Let's see if they can get up there. So we've got some jostling for position now, and it's about the time where, well, they're jostling position because they're going to be having pit stops in the very near future. Fenley getting so close to Dyson. So it's Jordan. They are really racing hard up on that high line, wanting to get down low in front of the pack as well. Be the leaders coming into the lane, because that can be a very helpful position because you've got nobody in front of you to slow you down. As Kobe Jordan giving Fenley a huge bump draft there, pushing them into turn 1, and Fenley makes it through. We've got Moment back in the pack as they're making it through. They're surviving. Will we see a caution? Possibly not. Oh, it's very, very close, but they get through without a caution. Justin Witcher is the one to really fall afoul there. He came down in front of Otto and got caught heavily. But that has really shaken things up. We haven't got a caution, though. It is still green flag running, and I think people are going to be coming down the lane in the very near future as well.
Sorry, Carl. Phil Otto in this lap. Phil Otto is in this lap.
Huge moment there. We saw Witcher just getting contact with Otto. He just didn't have the room. Maybe he's just come down a little bit too sort of quickly and got the all clear call, but it wasn't quite there, and that has caught him out. So that's caused the pack to really break up as well. This is going to be tricky if it remains green. We don't have many damaged cars out there, but we do have a lot of cars who are out of position and are going to be finding this one tricky to get back to those spots in a green flag situation. Sorry.
I think Dave Douglas and Dyson's in this lap also. Yes, they are, and Ryan Jones and the 308. Sorry, I forgot that.
So, Brad Fenley, Kobe Jordan up at the front of the field now, and they are going to be leading, but they're a pack of 2 at the moment, and that's going to really cost them in the speed. These guys need to get out on the track together. Those 4 cars need to get this pit stop absolutely perfect to get themselves out on track and linked up. It's the only opportunity for those rest of the cars to sort of close the gap. So this is going to be a little bit tricky, I think, for some of these guys now. They're going to be in a bit of a sorry situation. Norman Clark at the moment is leading the second pack in 3rd position. And it sounds like that pack's going to be coming in very, very soon as well, as they do start dropping down the line. And we see a whole heap of cars coming into the pit lane. JCW having a huge lockup, and they almost make contact. Very, very close for Tom Pritchard there. That was a really, really scary little moment there. That was so close.
Definitely. When this set of stops are over, we've got we've just been okay to have a chat to Dave Douglas under green race conditions. So we'll just let everything settle down for a lap or two, then we might see if we can get a chat with Dave under green conditions.
Yeah, we'll let everything just settle down a little bit because it is a bit crazy out there at the moment. There is much happening, and well, there's a lot of chopping and changing and positions swinging around as we see the next group of cars coming in. The big group as Urquio, Phelps, Pearson, Tomlin, Raymond, Crum, Schultz come in to the lane. The final cars to not stop. So 31 laps, about the maximum you can take it tonight on fuel.
Yeah, that's unusual because you definitely normally can get about 30, 33, 34 in a run here. So I'm just watching Dave Douglas just come past Finley. So that the group's starting to bunch back up again.
Yeah, they're getting. They are still very spread out though, and this has really spread the field out as we see exiting the lane there a whole heap of cars, and they're not going to be able to really group up too quickly. If you can get yourself in a decent group here, you can find yourself getting to the front of the pack. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to find themselves in really unenviable positions, like Stevie Dubb, Phil Otto. They're sort of right down the field, very broken up. The rest of the cars are coming out on track now, but Urquio's trying to get up to speed as other cars come flying past. This is where you've got to be really careful because it's so easy to have a wreck in this situation.
Yeah, definitely. We were lucky to get away with that last one, but we've seen right throughout the season, Carl. After pit stops, we tend to have one or two quick cautions while guys have gone back onto brand new tyres and full tanks of fuel, just forgetting how those cars handle under full tank conditions.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to be a little bit less noticeable on the super speedway. You know, it's one of those things that does even it out a tiny bit because on the super speedways it's not the hardest thing to drive. It's not easy, but without a massive pack, it's sort of very simple. You're not having to worry about braking points and the rear tyres falling off and new grip coming in to throw everything out. But you do sort of almost reset yourself, and then you come into the pack action after a pit stop, and you're running with different people, and that can often be the thing that causes an incident because you're running with different people that you weren't running with before. You don't quite know how they take the corner, how they feather the throttle sometimes, how they position the car. And that can be the thing that causes a wreck on a super speedway after a pit stop.
Yeah, now we just seen a strange thing here. Dave Douglas was in the lead. He got pushed by Ryan Jones, and he's decided to jump out of the road, and then everyone else has decided to jump up behind Double D and leave Ryan Jones. So Ryan has now dropped back to fifth position there in that queue.
Probably what he wanted, though, you got to say, because that's good for the fuel mileage. He's probably not wanting to be right up the front of the queue at the moment, and that's the thing. You've got guys that really don't want to be leading at this stage of the race, and they will jump out the queue and then cost that queue time, and that's what's happened here because Norman Clark is closing down. There's about 2.2 seconds between Clark and the leaders at the moment, so you know, this pack has got a good amount of cars in it, and a little bit further back, you've got Tom Pritchard leading the next group of cars. And these guys, they've got more cars in a line. That will mean a little bit more speed. So once they get to within about a second and a half of that next group of cars, they'll pick up the draft there, and then all of a sudden, these guys are going to have a monster run. And that can also be another thing that can easily cause a little bit of an accident. So we'll see how this one unfolds once we get there.
Yeah, well, now that things have settled down, we might see if we can get that quick word with Dave Douglas. Dave Douglas, Mark Johansson up in the booth, mate. Got a copy?
Yeah, boys, gotcha.
Mate, good to see you out there in the front. You just missed an accident just before that first set of service times. But yeah, it's good to see you and Mr. Dyson back out there and having a nice little push between each other.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I don't want to be leading this early. Last time I led in the second lot of stops, I guess, at Daytona, and sort of cost you too much fuel. And little bit of time on pit road. So yeah, not ideal, but we'll take it.
Yeah, got to be happy. Stand at pit stop there. That last stop, mate. No issues, no damage on the car.
No, she's all good. Just trying to sort out with these boys here. It's the best way. It wasn't real comfy in front of Jonesy, but Iso's jumping in front now. So I think we're trying to get away from the field behind us, like just trying to get that little bit of separation. So makes it a bit easier coming to pit road.
Yeah, all right, mate. Well, thanks for your time. We'll let you get back to concentrating. Let you get back to staring at the that thing in front of you, that orange and black thing. And hopefully we're talking to you post-race on the podium somewhere.
Yeah, can only hope so. We'll see how we go from here. But, we're in it. We're in it at the moment, so that's all we can hope for.
All right, mate. Thanks for your time under green flag conditions, and good luck, eh?
No worries, see you, boys.
Exactly, that's happened behind Dave. That second group of cars has closed up, and they've got a monster run on them, and that gap has just shrunk instantly. And it sort of happened. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle coming up to cross the start-finish line a couple of laps ago, and it really broke up this front pack, and they lost so much speed that second pack just caught straight up to them.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's why I thought we best let him get back to concentrating. The last thing we want to be doing is talking to him and him have an accident. We put in the mocker on enough drivers talking about him and crossing to him just in live pictures, let alone talking to him.
That's it. We can't put too much of a curse on those drivers. Second pack has really fallen off though now, as Tom Pritchard is leading that pack at the moment, but they've just lost so much pace by being a slightly smaller pack. Now the rest of the cars are grouped up. You've got a 12-car pack. This second pack is just losing time lap after lap after lap, and they've really got to work hard with each other to keep themselves close to this front field, or they've got to hope that the front pack starts battling a little bit, because at the moment they're just sort of nothing they can do. They're just holding on and just going, well, this is our future for the moment. Hopefully they can have a nice good pit stop with each other. If they can all make it down pit lane with each other and keep themselves closed up, they could be within a shout in the second set of stops, but they've got to do that to make it work, or have a late caution to close up the field again. If it remains green, they're going to have a really hard race now, and they're just sort of not going to be able to close the gap.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking through the field at the moment with our guys that are close to the dropping off and out of the playoff. Norman Clark is probably in the best position that he can be at the moment. He's up in fifth place, so he's definitely making a good show for himself tonight. Lachlan Urquio is up in the top 10 in ninth position. He's another one that's close to dropping out of the playoff. And Josh Schultz, unfortunately for Josh Schultz, he's sitting down in 17th in that Toyota at the moment. He definitely needs to make his way further forward to have a fighting chance to remain in the playoff run.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and pull something out of the bag. So same with Maddie Ray and Ruben Phelps as well. They're sort of in awkward positions at the moment. Ruben Phelps is sort of on the back of the main pack at the moment. He's just behind Neil Pearson. But it's sort of, they're going to want to have a strong night tonight just to keep themselves well inside the drop-off section. And they can't afford for somebody like Norman Clark to be right up there and get a huge amount of points, because that could really, really hurt them in the long run. Or even if Norman Clark can secure a win, or Dave Douglas, they are in with a shout that locks them into the next set of playoff spots, and that could really put a lot of pressure on some of those guys who are fighting in points positions. So that's the thing with the playoffs, is they are, it rewards the consistency, it rewards the fast drivers, but it does allow some of those drivers that are quick, but they tend to be a little bit more consistent in like top 10. an opportunity to get through. And if they get a good run, which they can do, then that could really be a shot in the arm for their championship season. So we'll see how that one unfolds. At the moment, it is Andrew Dyson leading the charge. Remember, he's got a win under his belt, so he's through to the next round of the playoffs. Dave Douglas just behind him, though, would dearly love to get a victory and secure himself into the final four.
Yeah, I just can't remember how Dave. I don't think Dave made the playoffs last year, so he's definitely having a better year this year than last year, and he's definitely in that pointy end of the playoff. So even a second place will I would almost say will secure him into the next stage of the championship for the playoff championship.
Yeah, it'd be great to see Dave getting through one of the privateers, of course. And again, it would be nice to see one of the privateers having that run and getting into the final round of the playoffs, because it does favour the big teams, and if we can get a driver that's in a privateer entry into the final four, that would be fantastic stuff, and could really spice things up.
Yeah, definitely. And the other person that's had a great night, I don't want to put the mocker on him. I'm touching as much wood as I can. Excuse me, Brad Finley in the number 20 VB car. He's really come on strong this season. Really close to the front of the fields now. Regular in the top 10 finishes all the time. So it's good to see him still out there, even though he's not in the playoff. He's still putting in great effort and looking at definitely upsetting some other people by taking points away.
Yeah, that's it. Dyson's just dropped back out of the lead here, so he's dropped to the tail of the field to try and get some fuel mileage under his belt, I think. Because he's been leading for a long time. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see Dave do the same, but I don't think he wants to risk it. I think he wants to stay up there and keep himself in the lead just so he can keep out of trouble. But as he said when he was talking to us before, he's been in this position before, and it can really cost you a lot of time. Because Dyson's got to be careful not to fall too far behind.
Sorry, Carl. The two SRM cars, Lachlan Erclio and Ruben Phelps, now moved up to the high line and are having a run on the outside.
Yeah, they decided it's time to pull the trigger and see what they can do. Of course, they would sorely love to get a bonus point as well, just to get that extra point under their belt. But those are two other drivers in the playoffs at the moment, and they would really love to get themselves secured in with a victory and find themselves in that final four. There's three drivers for that team currently looking to get in the playoffs. And, when you've only got 4 spots, it makes it very, very tricky, because one of those spots is taken, so there's only 3 spots for the playoffs left. So, the odds are not in SRM's favour to get multiple cars through, you've got to say.
Yeah, definitely. And some people may be wondering, it is hard to pick up at times. Most of the front window banners are normally black. All the playoff cars, as you can see here on a great shot Matt's got us, that the playoff cars are running yellow window banners. So they distinguish your playoff guys in the chase. So keep an eye on that through the next couple of races. You'll see some of those disappear back to black. But again, we're seeing Dave have a great run. Ruben and Lachlan are really having a great run on that outside line. That has really hooked up for them. And we can
Pearson
see in the background,
Dyson.
Pearson and Dyson closing in now.
They've decided to pull the trigger and link themselves up on this high line. It's now a 4-car line, and they're going to see if they can come flying their way through and see if they can get up there. Lachlan Erclio could well get himself a bonus point here, as he's just a nose ahead. Will he be in the lead when they get to the line? He does indeed. So Erclio just leads it across the line there, gets himself a nice bonus point chucked in there, and a lap led. So always nice when you lead a lap in a race. But at the moment, it's the 42 of the SRM machine, Lachlan Erclio there, the Motor Breaker Mechanical SRM team, up in the front. And that high line started to come alive a little bit. And this is what This is what Tom Pritchard wants to see, because he's now going to start closing this gap as these guys form up two lines and start to slow each other down a little bit. They're not going to be as fast. So that's going to help that second group of cars just close the gap a little bit. And also, it can also mean that it's a little bit more risk of something happening. So 18 laps, about 18 laps for these guys on this stint so far. So we'll be coming down the lane in about 10 laps time. So not long until the second round of green flag stop-start coming in. Everybody's going to be working out in their head when's the best time to come into the lane, what they need to do when they get back out, of course, and who they get back out with, because that can be a crucial thing. You know, as we've said on super speedways, you often want that number 10 car behind you. Dave Douglas is one of the best pushers on a super speedway. He's also a very talented super speedway driver. So, you know, if you can get working with Dave Douglas, that will be crucial. But I don't think Dave is going to be playing second fiddle tonight. I think he wants to get the win.
Yeah, the way he was talking to us, I definitely think his mindset for that third stint of the race and be the leader as the checkered flag comes down. But I'm just working out on fuel numbers. If they come down at lap 60, some of them are going to run very close to running out of fuel by lap 90 if they're only getting 30 laps. So we may even see some guys come back in for a splash and dash. Now we have seen those DPR cars of Pearson and Dyson in past races being able to stretch that fuel just that little bit longer. So those two guys there are the cars to watch if everyone comes in on lap 60.
Well, cars that are looking good at the moment, I'll just wait for them all to cross the line. But Lachlan Oakrio is one of those drivers that extended his stint. Same with Ruben Phelps, Neil Pearson. So they managed to get about an extra lap of fuel in that last run. So they're a little bit less crucial. Dave Douglas, Shane Bowen, Andrew Dyson, Ryan Jones, they all came in around the same time. So they're going to be they're going to be tight for fuel. They should still make it, but it's going to be close. So they're the guys that need to be really, really cautious at this stint. They need to extend a little bit. They need to make it to lap 60 before they come down the lane. If they come in any earlier, they're going to be in real trouble to not make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely. And Dave's probably the worst one at the moment because he's been out the front of that pack, and he's the one that's breaking making the wind tunnel for everyone behind him. I'm actually quite surprised that he hasn't done what Dyson's done. With Dyson being the fourth car in that outside row, he's going to be able to save ever so slightly, but he's going to save some fuel.
He is, but look at the top of your picture there. Tom Pritchard leading that charge. That second group of cars have done a fantastic job. They've managed to close down about 3 seconds in the last few laps. And Raymond Yeager there behind him, another driver that is extremely experienced at super speedway driving. We see multiple-time champion in the Australasian Supercar E-Series as well, Mr. Yeager. And he's one of those guys that knows how to get drafting working, and he's doing a fantastic job with Pritchard and Christopher Tomlin to just keep that charge going. And they have done a great job to close that gap up because it was looking really bad for them. About 5 laps ago, they were still about 5 seconds behind. Now they've closed up and they are within the point where they're going to catch the draft, and they've all closed up nicely to the field there. Really good job.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just listening to the radio chat there, and that second group of Tomlin and co. They've done really well. They're congratulating each other over the race radio on a job well done, and really they have done a fantastic job, Carl. As you said, it looked like they were going to go nowhere 5 laps ago, but they've been able to close it right up.
And what did I say earlier on? If this front pack starts squabbling, if they start playing around and start making 2 lines, they're going to start dropping back, and it's exactly what happened there. And that's just closed the field right up. Now we've got 18 cars within a couple of seconds of each other. Unfortunately, Stevie Dub, Justin Witcher, Phil Otto are still well off the pack. They've managed to form up their own little group at the moment, but they were all involved in that kerfuffle, that sort of spin where Witcher and Otto sort of made contact and just dropped right off the field. So that trio of cars are really in a nasty spot at the moment. They're about 30 seconds off the lead. They need a caution to make this race happen for them.
Definitely are. So, according out to our fuel figures, in the next 5 to 6 laps, we should see the next service period. Now, watch for these guys getting down on the pit lane because they are pushing very hard, and they'll be looking at trying to talk to each other. And as we see them come into pit lane, we'll see them go very spread eagle down pit lane. Guys will be saying, go into the wall, stay in centre, go on right. They'll talk to each other as they come in so they don't run into each other and cause a wreck on pit lane.
Absolutely, and man, that's used to the term spread eagle is Dave Douglas with the casting couch there. So he's leading away. That's his line of thought. So he is going to be he's going to be the car that's used up the most fuel though. But I wonder how many people are going to come in with Dave. He needs a lot of people to come in with him to make his race work. So if he gets a good group of cars coming in with him, then they will be able to make the next stint work. If he comes in all on his lonesome, he is going to be in serious trouble unless there's a caution. So, it does make things a little bit tricky.
I'll make a prediction. I think the two Black Arrows cars will come down with Dave, and if they come down, JCW will follow them down. Lachlan and Ruben will probably try, as they did that last stint, probably stay out for that extra lap. But it's really a guessing game on what's going to happen, because, as you said, Carl, you want a good group of guys in there with you. Phil Otto's in this lap, so he is running very short on fuel, so he will not make it to the end.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Only 27 laps for Phil in this one, but he had to come in the earliest of anyone before as well. So it's really unfortunate. And it looks like Stevie Dubb's going to come in with him as well as Justin Witcher. Witcher makes a big lock-up as they just get in. I think I heard Dave Douglas maybe coming in this lap as well. So this is really, really going to be tight because there's 33 laps remaining. And, we have seen about 33 lap stints work. But it's going to be really, really tight. Dave Douglas does come into the lane, and he comes in on his lonesome. Nobody comes in with him. That is so painful for Dave. And he is just going to be sitting there punching his wheel, just going, oh, God damn it, I shouldn't have led those laps. Because that has really cost him an enormous amount. The only thing he can hope for is a lot of people messing up their pit stops now and just costing themselves a bit of time. Because that's the only chance he's got of making it through. So we should see a lot more cars coming down the lane this time around as well.
Shane Bowen's in this lap. So if these guys all come in now, it's not going to hurt Dave too badly. He'll be able to get out, but he's got to really get that out lap and go up to speed very, very quickly. Let's see how many come in with him. Shane Bowen's in by himself. So this has really hurt these two guys.
Yeah, they've been right up the front of the pack lap after lap after lap. So that just shows how much fuel they've used. While the cars that were sitting a bit further back are able to go a little bit longer. And I imagine we're going to probably see Dyson coming in next time round because he led a few laps at the start and just get the feeling his fuel load's going to be a little bit on at the edge. So I imagine they're going to try and extend it to lap 60. But it's going to be very, very close.
Yeah, definitely. And we can see the main field down the back straight. Dave Douglas now has just come out of turn 4. So that lead pack is catching Dave very quickly.
Yeah, they're going to catch up to him, and that's going to really, really hurt because it takes about 45 seconds down pit lane, and especially if you've got other people with you. And it's a 50-second lap here. So, just so many little things that can really come in. Tom Pritchard's had to come in now. He done well on his fuel there because he led that second pack for a long period. So he's done really good to get that car extended to a length he did.
Yeah, definitely. So the guys, Dave Douglas, Shane Bowen, and even Tom Pritchard would be now praying to the gods for a caution.
Yeah, it's gonna be really tricky for them to get back into this race. Now, who's going to come in this time round? Let's find out. Jones comes into the lane. So does Dyson and Raymond Yeager. So Yeager was second in that second row, so they can't make it any further, but they should be fine on fuel for this next run. But it's still just that little bit touch and go. That's put Brad Fenley up into the lead of the race. As again, Brad Fenley leads away, and remember he extended the stint last time round. He got sort of hung out a little bit. He was out on his lonesome, and he's extended nicely here. So Fenley's got himself in a really good position here. Norman Clark, Jamie Curvis right behind as well. So this is where we're going to see a huge group of cars coming in to the lane. I think we're going to see this whole pack coming in to pit lane now. So keep your eyes peeled. Let's see who makes this work. They come in to the lane. They all spread out, getting themselves into position. JCW locking up again. They get in and car at the back there. It might have been Crum just having to chink out the way, but they all make it in nice and clean. Huge group of cars into the lane now. Lachlan Urquio back into the lead of the race. Maddie Ray, Ruben Phelps, Neil Pearson. They've stuck it out an extra lap here, so that's going to be good news for them for the final run to the flag because they can afford to be up front.
Yeah, I'm just watching Dave Douglas. Dave and Shane Bowen have actually linked up. So now they're up running around 190 mile an hour. Tom Pritchard's in that group, and
Raymond
Yeager is in that group now. So it hasn't been too bad. So let's hope they can work together. And as we can see, that other group of cars now coming out of pit lane. So it hasn't been too bad for those guys.
Let's see where they sit at the end of this pit period, though. That's going to be the thing to watch out for, see where it all shakes out to. At the moment, Ryan Jones is leading that group with Dyson. So Jonesy and Dyson up front. They're ahead of Shane Bowen and Dave Douglas. So yeah, Dave Douglas has managed to come out in a big group of cars here. So that wasn't as bad as it could have been for him, but he needs to save fuel here. He can't afford to run out of fuel on the last lap, and that's going to be the hard thing for Dave now. He's in that position where he has a little bit less fuel, and he's just going to have to be a little bit less racy in this stint to make it. See Ryan Jones, Dave Douglas flying around the high side of this group of cars as they exit the lane. This group's going to drop right off. They need to get up to speed very quickly to get themselves into a position to get there. Neil Pearson jumping up, trying to jump up to that line, but that high line is just flying through like a freight train. He should be able to link onto the back here, and he does. So Neil Pearson links up there just ahead of Lachlan Urquio, I think, and Maddie Ray. So yeah, they've done a good job through the pit lane. Everybody's done a really good job of keeping themselves in the game here tonight. They've really got themselves in a good position. Jai Schultz leads Luke Crum, Joshua Carroll-Walden and Kobe Jordan at the moment. Those are the sort of main group of cars that have fallen off the back of this pack. And then, of course, Justin Witcher, Stevie Dubb and Phil Otto are sort of in no man's land still. Yeah,
definitely. But now that group, everyone's joined up together again. So the race is on. The big question over some of these guys is fuel. Are they going to make it home with 27 laps to go? So I know Dave will probably be praying in the back of his head, let's see a caution.
That's it. I mean, look, if we do get a late caution, if we get, say, a green white checker here, that could be pivotal because some of these guys will be able to stay out and keep themselves out on with that and not have to worry about coming into the lane, while others will need to come in for a splash and dash, and that can cost them a huge amount of positions. So they need a caution to come sort of in normal race conditions rather than a green white checker. They need to sort of find themselves in a good position for this race before they lose too many spots.
Yeah, definitely. Now watch the for Joy Schultz, Norman Clark, and Lachlan Urquhart. We see that high line, and that's been headed by two Toyotas of Joy Schultz and Luke Crum. So
Look at the run they've got.
yeah, this is definitely going to help Joy Schultz, especially if he can get. Well, he's now out in front, and if he can win this race, it will lock him into the next set of for the championship, for the playoff. So that would definitely see Norman Clark and Lachlan Urquhart drop out of the playoff run.
We've just got to talk about that run, Mark, because that was incredible. They came from the back of the pack to the front in a click of a finger. Absolute mega run there for those guys, and that's going to be crucial information for the rest of the pack. You might see a few people just dropping back a little bit here and try and get a similar run, as there's a little bit of wiggling happening at the back of the pack, and this could break it up a bit. But yeah, that's crucial information for the guys at the front, because this could be a monster run here for some people. So you can see that the monster run does work. And well, if somebody can get that working, they could find themselves leapfrogging a lot of cars in the final stages of this race.
Yeah, definitely right, Carl. We just the Black Arrows cars trying to link back up together. But they're trying to get Jamie's definitely trying to get Norman back in front of him to start pushing. We just see there now that Norman has not been able to get back in front of Jamie. So, you know, I spoke to Jamie through the week, and we see Joy Schultz pull to the high line and dropping back again.
Yeah, Joy Schultz has decided to drop down the pack. He's pulled off the front there, and nobody's sort of come with him there. So he's going to drop right to the back of the pack, and I wonder if he's going to just sit back there because he's a little bit light on fuel maybe. Just wants to do some fuel saving rather than leading. He needs to sit down at the back, but he knows he can get that monster run working if he can get it there. So he's got to really time that run to perfection to make it work. So it's going to be tricky to get it done, but it could be done indeed. So right now he's in fuel conservation mode. Next time round, though, he could be in full attack mode, but he's got to be careful not to fall off the back of the pack because he's just about a second behind Ruben Phelps at the moment. And he might have actually lost the draft. So that is dire for Joy Schultz if that's happened. And he has lost the draft, as that was a massive mistake and miscalculation from him, because he has just completely fallen off the back now and he is going to just tumble down.
Yeah, that's definitely not good for his playoff. So we may see him drop down to the bottom of the points in the playoff, guys. But we still have a race between Norman Clark and Lachlan Urquhart. There's only a few spots between those two guys. So let's see what happens here. Norman's still not been able to get in front of Jamie. But we still have that Toyota of Luke Crum, that lime green car out in front. And who said green was unlucky?
And the green is going well at the moment. And they're getting a bit of a lead, actually, over Ryan Jones. You've got JCW and Kobe Jordan working well together at the front of this pack. And they've pulled out a little bit of a gap over Ryan Jones here in fourth position. So they're actually starting to break away a little bit here. And I wonder if people are just fuel saving a little bit and then sort of getting themselves linked back up. They're really thinking about the fuel here for this final 20 laps. So there's a lot of calculations going on in these race cars. And one of those things about sim racing, we talk about it every now and then, but you know, you're your own crew chief. You're having to do all the calculations yourself in that car. And it does make it a little bit tricky, because trying to calculate things when you're driving at 300 plus kilometers per hour with cars either side of you, in front of you and behind you, it does become a little bit tricky. Brad Fenley, Neil Pearson up on the high line now, trying to get a run. They're all on their own though, so they're not going to have too much luck. But those cars those two have got probably the most fuel of anybody. So they're in a really good spot.
The problem with being your own pit crew chief, I run out of toes and fingers.
That's why you need an abacus by the sim rig.
Yeah, we see there just coming into turns 1 and 2. JCW giving Luke Crum a nice big push, and that's pushed him out a little bit now, and we see those two guys now close up again. They need to stop moving around so they can get that pushing happening.
Yeah,
but Brad Fenley and Neil Pearson has made a slow but a good run, slowly moving forward. Don't be surprised if we see those other two DPR cars of Jones and Dyson jump up if Pearson can push Finley to in front of him.
You just get the feeling that maybe Pearson is happy.
Oh, reckon.
We're going to have a wreck here. Who is that going around? Raymond Yeager going into Lachlan Oakwell, goes into Maddie Ray. That was a huge wreck at the back of the pack. Where did that come from? What happened there?
Oh, sorry, mate. I missed it myself. I was looking forward and I just seen in the bottom of my screen that the car starting to turn around.
So let's go back to look at that one. It looks like Jamie Nankervis has just made contact with Raymond Yeager, and he's just got a bit of a run, and all of a sudden, he's just drifted. Oh,
I don't know who that's on.
That is so close. That is a tricky one to call. That's very marginally on. Just looking at that quickly, Jamie Nankervis has just drifted up a tiny little bit going into the corner, and it's just made contact with the back of Yeager. And unfortunately for Urquio and Maddie Ray, they've got nowhere to go, and heavy contact there for those three cars. So this will, it will neutralise the race, but it will also mean that people can just save a little bit of fuel. They can pop in the lane to top up a little bit too. But this has changed the outcome of this race as we see that replay once again. And, heavy contact for Urquio on the nose. Same for Maddie Ray. I think Yeager got relatively unscathed in that one. He got some heavy contact in the door, but it's going to be tough on Urquio and Maddie Ray because they'll have damage on the front of their car. And, well, as you know, around a super speedway, damage to the front really messes it up.
Oh, yeah. Just watch here for guys down pit lane. It looks like a lot of guys are coming down. Dave Douglas is definitely in. We can see him down below that yellow line.
Yeah, a few people throwing the dummy. Ryan Jones throwing the dummy and pulling it and deciding to stay out there. Your Carol Walden sticks out. He doesn't even throw a dummy. He just stays up on the high side. And, that's interesting. So a few people sticking it out there because they feel like they're pretty safe on fuel. Now, it's pretty much just going to be a splash of fuel for everybody. There's no need to change tyres because super speedways, they don't eat tyres too much, do they?
No, definitely not. I'm just going to duck a run down the pit lane and see if I can find out some information on Lockie and Maddie Ray, mate.
Okie dokie. So, first caution of the night here tonight. And, a dramatic one because that's two cars in the chase are caught up in that. Two playoff cars, Maddie Ray and Lachlan Urquio. Maddie Ray back out on track. Lachlan Urquio still getting some heavy repairs done to his car. As I said, the front end of that car took a huge whack, and that's a shame for the 42 of Urquio. To say, just wrong place, wrong time for both of those drivers, unfortunately. They were just sitting, minding their own business as a car came flying up towards them. Maddie Ray is back out on track, so it looks like he's managed to get that car stuck together. The Mobile Braking Mechanical team doing a good job of getting that car back into racing condition. Joshua Carroll Weldon, Ryan Jones, Andrew Dyson, Jamie Nankervis, Norman Clark, and Ruben Phelps all stuck it out on track. Our top six at the moment. Luke Crum is the first of the cars to come down pit lane. He's in seventh with Neil Pearson, Shane Bowen, and Dave Douglas. The driver this really helps out is Dave Douglas. So he's been able to fill up his car, and now he can go back to full throttle racing. And, I'm sure we're going to see Dave going back at it. Of course, also Joe Schultz, he will be thankful for this caution because this has saved his race. So with 16 laps remaining, As always in a super speedway, we have a long period of nothing, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, and that is exactly what has happened. Mark, what's the prognosis on Quio's car?
Lockie's car is cooked, but it will finish. He will not have any pace in that car. Matty Ray will be back on pace. He's been able to get his 20 seconds worth of damage repaired. So, unfortunately for Lockie, he is now in survival mode. He just needs to get as many points as he can. But that car is definitely going to have no pace in it.
That is a big shame indeed. This has also been a helpful caution for Phil Otto and Stevie Dubb. Those guys will be back up towards the front as well. So, look, bad news for many, but good news for some. Big shame, as we said, for Lachlan Oakville. He will be devastated with that accident. And, well, nothing he could do in that situation. Just really wrong place, wrong time. Which is often the way on a super speedway. We do say they're a bit like a lottery, and like most lotteries, there's more chance of losing it than there is of winning it. So all running cars are on the lead lap at the moment. All 21 cars. We've lost Noddy Tompkins from this race, unfortunately, but everybody else is on the lead lap. So 21 cars can win this race, although Lachlan Oakville is going to have a tough job of it. But we've seen in the past that it's not over until it's over, and sometimes even a damaged car can take out a victory on a super speedway.
Yeah, definitely. I just enjoy it. Lachlan Urquhart finally catch up. So his nose is pushed in and not very straight anymore.
And the damage he took, he's probably got a little bit of engine damage as well, which will be really, really hurting him. So we'll see how well that car runs once we get back to green flag racing. You might find that in the pack he can sort of keep up. So hopefully that is the case. It's going to be Joshua Carroll-Warden leading away from Atari with Ryan Jones on his outside for this round 31 of 36 here at Talladega for the ANZCAR Cup. To the restart zone we come. The long, long march to the restart zone here at Talladega. It's all the way around the other side of the tri-oval. And we are off to green flag racing. They get away nicely. The Highline's got away a little bit better. They've got a better run up top for sure. They get nicely away. Nat Curvis right behind Jones, pushing on nicely. And people are not going to be too worried about leading this race now. They're going to move to be up front.
Yeah, some guys will still want to be just behind those the leaders, the race lead. But it's gloves are off now. 15 laps to go, and it's every man for himself.
Jones, Nankervis, Phelps drop down to the lower line ahead of JCW. That is Neil Pearson up leading the high line. He's got Dave Douglas right behind him. Dave Douglas will be absolutely delighted with that caution because that's got him back into this race. Now they've got to be careful not to have another wreck because this is where we are most likely going to see another big accident as they come back to racing. Who can take this one out? Well, it's anybody's game.
Yeah, definitely. And the other beneficiary of that caution was Joy Schultz in the 27 car. He's now back up on that pack and sitting there midfield at the moment. So he's also been very lucky.
Yeah, as we said, a lot of people getting a reprieve from the hangman's noose from that one. Phil Otto was another driver that really got some good luck with that one. And, well, Lachlan Oakville, he's managed to get some speed in that car. He's currently sitting just behind Tom Pritchard. He's got Matty Ray pushing from behind as well. So it's not too bad. He's not got the pace to win it in that position, you've got to say, by running. But he's at least sticking with the pack. And if there's an accident, that could be crucial because he could weave his way through and find himself up a whole heap of positions. Up high, it's Pearson, Douglas, and Fenley. So those guys are sitting up on the high line. They're the lead group. As that low line gets a little bit wobbly, as these cars, they have a bit of aero these days, and the rear has aero dependency as well. And you start to get that cut off when you're running in a pack formation, and the car can get very, very squirrely very, very quickly. Dyson's jumped up to the lead line now. He's taken the lead ahead of Pearson of that high line. So we know those guys have worked well together so far this race. Can they work well together to get themselves up to the front again? 3 wide at the back. Stevie Double leading the top line at the moment. One of the Pinnacle cars in the middle, I'd say that is Justin Witcher.
Oh, sorry, someone in the back there touching the wall. It's the one of the Pinnacle cars, Raymond Jaeger. Oh, reckon.
We've got a big wreck happening in the background. What happened there? And again, unfortunately, Urquio and Maddie Ray really caught up heavily in that one.
One of the Pinnacle cars hit the wall and came down. I'm just laughing at Lockie's comments. One of the Pinnacle cars there in that next I think it's a 12 that goes up and touches the wall.
No, it is Andrew Dyson that goes into the wall. So Dyson has a moment up there, causes... No, that wasn't actually. There was something happening in front. Sorry, Mark. There's multiple things happening there, wasn't there?
Yeah, it looks like Dave has actually got loose and come down on Justin.
No, so Dyson's got up into the wall, gone into Dave. There we go. So I've seen what's happened now. So Dyson has gone up into the wall, clipped the wall. He's gone down and clipped Dave Douglas, and that's caused Douglas to fall backwards. And then there's been an accident happening as that's all gone along because Douglas is sort of avoiding that. He's gone down and clips the car. And, well, all hell's broken loose behind. So Douglas clips Witcher, who then goes down into Urquio. And, well, pinball happens.
Pinball wizardry.
So as you see there, Dyson just clips the wall. Douglas just goes to avoid it, but doesn't have any room. And bang, whack, wham, all of a sudden it is over. As we see Urquio going around and around, Douglas goes straight into the side of Urquio. Maddie Ray joins him. So does Stevie Dub. That's 3 cars in the playoffs, 3 cars in the finals that well, are going to have a hard time now to get through to the final 4. They are in an unenviable position.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would say this we'll see the end of the 42's run at the championship because he has extensive damage there. Matty Ray may find himself in danger depending on where he finishes tonight. So the guys that are still in the playoffs, but only just, will be Dave Douglas. He's going to have some heavy damage on that car too. So it's a big ramifications for the playoff positions here tonight.
Absolutely, and the drama of the final few races, well, it happens once again. The drama has come to a peak, and well, we've still got 9 laps to go, so we might say it's over for Lockie. But anything can happen in those 9 laps. We could see absolute chaos, him coming across the line to win it, and who knows what else could happen here, Mark. So always the way we sort of talk something up and then something else completely happens. So it's going to be it's going to be tricky for some of those guys because they've got a lot of damage to repair, but it's not over yet. They are still in it. They've still got a chance of making it, but it is going to be hard for them to sort of... It's going to be a lot harder for them to do it than it is for somebody like Ruben Phelps, Norman Clark, even Jai Schultz now. They are in some prime positions. I think a couple of laps ago we were saying how Jai Schultz might be out of the playoffs now. He could well be finding himself in to the next set of rounds with a good finish here tonight. So all could still happen. And well, who's going to win this race, Mark? There are still so many opportunities for people to win this race. You've got Ryan Jones up at the front of the field. Luke Crum has been having a mega run tonight. Jamie Nankervis is back. Is it his chance to get that first cup victory? Could we see that happening from a little bit of a break? Shane Bowen, don't discount the Cobalt Racing entries. He is up there in the top 10 at the moment. So still plenty to play for tonight.
And I was going to say too, one we haven't mentioned is JCW. Although he's now out of the playoffs because he failed to make it through from the last round, he's up there in position 6, and he could really throw the spanner in the works and take this race. Norman Clark's there, so there's still a lot to be played out. Because when we go back racing, we'll have 8 laps left, and it'll be an 8-lap sprint race.
It will be indeed. It makes you wonder why we do, 90 laps of a super speedway. We should only do 10 of them.
And I mean to say, it's there's going to be no. It's going to be bare knuckle fighting here, because everyone will want to get some points. Because next week we're off to the Roval, and we all know who's likely to win that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a prime opportunity next time out for DPR, with their group of drivers to get the win at the Roval. So, this could be the final opportunity for some of the oval side drivers to get that win, to get them through.
Yeah, definitely. So lights are out on the pace car, so we will go back green, and we'll have an 8-lap sprint race. Anyone care to nominate a winner out there in YouTube land?
Brave person to place a bet at this stage of the race. At Super Speedway, you don't want to place your bet until the final 5 seconds of the lap, I think. And even then it can be a bit of a crapshoot. So, Jonesy's going to lead away on that low side. Will we see the low line getting a poor start again? Will the high line get away better? We're going to find out very, very shortly. 8 laps remaining here tonight at Talladega. It is the final Super Speedway of the playoffs here at Talladega. It's round 31 of 36. Into the restart zone they go, and away they go. And a nice start again for the high line. The high line again just gets away nicely and just gets a little bit of a better start. So that will see them just grouping up nicely and possibly getting a run here down the back straight. Can Jonesy get it secured, get it tightened up down there? As they are all pushing like mad. Everybody knows it's their chance to win, and they are going to be racing hard. That high line is really linked up well. Ruben Phelps getting a huge push there and coming along nicely with Luke Crum. They're looking to come down. Luke Crum decides to pull the trigger. He comes down in front there. So does Bowen. The 3 of them drop down in front of Jonesy. Nicely done. Jai Schultz now leads the high line. He's up top, just side by side with Ryan Jones. He's got Kobe Jordan behind him with Neil Pearson. They are a little bit wobbly still at the front as they come up to the line. It's Ruben Phelps, Luke Crum leading away. Luke Crum's jumped back up to the high line here. So it's Ruben Phelps down on the low line. Luke Crum leads at the moment up on the high line ahead of Jai Schultz. They are working together very well at the moment, that top 3, and they are pushing along nicely here. It's Crum, Schultz, Jordan on the high line. Will they drop down now? They do. Jai Schultz drops down with Luke Crum, who's got a spin in the background. We're wrecking. Do we get a caution flag? No, we don't, as Raymond Jaeger goes around in the background. He manages to save the car. No caution. That's his race over with, unless we get another caution here. Meanwhile, Kobe Jordan leads the low line up high. It's Neil Pearson and Andrew Dyson with Brad Fenley. They're trying to get the run on the high line, seeing who can drop down in front now.
I'll tell you what, this has still got a lot to do with playoff points here, because Lachlan Urquio now has got himself in front of Norman Clark. Jai Schultz is up there. So the guys that are in the cut-off positions are really battling, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
Absolutely. I can just go back. I've just gone back and had a quick look at that. Norman Clark and Raymond Jaeger made contact with each other, and that caused Clark to have to lift it off. He lost a whole heap of positions from that one. So that's dropped him down towards the back. As we said, we can't start writing off drivers yet because it's a super speedway and anything can happen, and it will happen, as we just saw. But up front, it's Neil Pearson in the lead. This could be crucial for DPR's hopes of getting the most of their cars into the playoffs. Neil Pearson gets a win here. He's locked himself into the final 4. he would be delighted with that one, as his teammate is already locked in with Andrew Dyson. But everybody else does not want that to happen. They want to try and spoil DPR's party. DPR have been dominant this season, and everybody else wants to stop that from happening. They need to cut the head off the Hydra, and at the moment, Luke Crum is looking to make that happen, with Cody Jordan and Jai Schultz there fighting hard to try and get the lead back in this race.
Yeah, definitely, and all that to go as we cross the strike this time by, and we are now 3 wide. This is a typical super speedway racing. Norman Clark has to get the bit between his teeth and start making a move. He's got to try and find a way through if he wants to continue in the playoffs, because he is the man that is in danger of dropping out now.
He's in an unenviable spot. So is Matty Ray. They're not in good positions at the moment at the back of this pack. Matty Ray fighting with one hand tied behind his back. Lachlan Acquio somehow keeping it in there with all of that damage. So a epic job from him to keep on fighting tonight. He is one of those prize fighters that's fighting despite having the 7 shades knocked out of them. We got 3 wide now. It's Tom Pritchard. He's coming back. We've seen Tom Pritchard's got a fast car all night long. He has been very quick. Now he's up on the high line, moving his way up with Brad Fenley. Could this be Fenley's opportunity? Could it be Pritchard's opportunity? We won't know. 3 laps to go as Luke Crum leads across the line just ahead of Neil Pearson. They are really close with each other at the moment. There is nothing between the cars. 16 thousandths of a second there, just absolutely nothing, as they are 3 wide here, and this is looking very, very dicey. Cars are getting a little bit wobbly now. Drivers are getting a little bit tired. Dave Douglas, he's trying to work his way back up through the pack as well. He's sort of caught in the middle there at the moment, as a few people are having connectivity issues as well, which doesn't help things with them blinking, but they are managing to hold the positions there at the moment. We have got 9 cars, nose to tail, up the front, 3 wide. There is absolutely nothing between the top group of cars. 0.2 of a second between the top 10 at the moment as the middle line starts to drop out. It's Neil Pearson on the low line, getting a good run now. The high line needs to drop down, needs to get charged again to get this position back. We're coming up to the white flag. This is turning out to be a fantastic super speedway race.
Typical super speedway, Carl. Very fast and high banks action.
Absolutely, it is all on. Everything is going, and well, it's just 3 cars on that high line now. They need to link themselves up. They need to get themselves together to get this run working, because DPR are sitting in a fantastic position at the moment. We're about to see the white flag fly, coming up to the line. Only 1 lap to go. The high line's got charged up once again as they come flying along. It's Shane Bowen leading the high line charge at the moment, but they need to work together to cut off that low line. They need to get themselves ahead. This is the final opportunity. Andrew Dyson getting racy there, just door banging with Shane Bowen at 315 kilometers per hour. He defends team leader Neil Pearson there. Dyson is the shield to Pearson's sword at the moment. Down the inside, Jamie Nankervis looking to get a run on the inside line at the moment. Going nose to tail with Kobe Jordan there. They're coming through the final corner as there's a wreck. Dave Douglas goes around. Douglas is around in the background as there's a monster wreck happening there for Nankervis as well. This is going to give Neil Pearson the opportunity to take the win ahead of Dyson. It's going to be Pearson, Dyson, Joshua Carroll Walden coming to the line, and Neil Pearson wins at Talladega.
Again, super speedway racing.
Whew. Just take a breath there. So let's see what happened there at the final run to the flag. We saw Dave Douglas pointing in the wrong direction. What happened to the number 10? We're going to find out here. Self with Luke Crum going along. And what happens to Dave? We're going to find out very shortly. But I saw him pointing very much the wrong way on that final lap. So just gets a push from Bowen, I think, there, and flies himself up in front of Jonesy. And Dave Douglas will finish the lap in reverse. And then this second accident, what happened here? So, let's have a look at this second incident. Kobe Jordan's gone down into Jamie Nankervis there, I think. Looked like the back end stepped out on Jordan's car. Just got a bit loose, went down into the tail of Jamie Nankervis. And, well, there was already a little bit of an accident happening behind as well, because Lachlan Urquio got caught by Jai Schultz. So there was a secondary accident happening at the same time there as Lachlan Urquio gets flung up to the wall. So 2 accidents happening at the same time, and you've got to feel for Urquio. He has been in the wrong place at the wrong time every moment tonight. But in the right place at the right time was Neil Pearson and Andrew Dyson as they come up to the line and take victory here at Talladega. So, a lot to digest in that final few moments of the race. Lots of incidents happening, as we say, about 3 different accidents happening at the same time on that white flag lap. But coming out victorious is Neil Pearson, and that's going to lock him in to the final 4. Both DPR cars have made their way through. So, a lot of stuff there. Let's run through the results. It's Neil Pearson taking the win. Andrew Dyson comes home second, with Joshua Carroll-Walden coming in third for Natari. Good to see JCW back on the podium. Stevie Dubb comes in fourth after a long, arduous race for Stevie Dubb. He's going to be happy with that result. Ruben Phelps secures fifth position. Jai Schultz comes home sixth. Really good news for his playoff run. Shane Bowen in a 7th spot with Ryan Jones, Matty Ray and Brad Fenley. That's our top 10. Matty Ray coming home in 8th position again. That's going to be good for his playoff spot. Norman Clark comes home in 11th for the playoff drivers with Luke Crum, Tom Pritchard, Kobe Jordan. Dave Douglas drops down to 15th position ahead of Raymond Yeager, Jamie Nankervis, Phil Otto, Lachlan Urquio in 19th position. A tough night for himself. And Christopher Tomlin down in 20th spot. Justin Witcher and Noddy Tompkins round out our field tonight.
Yeah, unfortunate for a couple of guys there that, you know, that were close to the front all night. But Stevie Dubb, you know, 10, 15 laps ago, he was nowhere. And he, to come back and finish where he did, he has got to be absolutely wrapped with that.
Yeah, he fell off the lead pack at the start and had a very lonely race. But as a super speed race, it came back to him at the end, and a good night for DPR. They got all of their cars inside the top 10 as well. So they are going to be very pleased with that indeed. Okie dokie. Well, let us start with some post-race interviews. So we'll start off tonight with our 3rd place man, Mr. Joshua Carroll-Walden for Natari. The 35 of JCW is up here in the booth for his podium here at Talladega. Joshua Carroll-Walden, how are you going? Congratulations on P3 here at a very, very chaotic close to this race.
Yeah, it was chaotic, wasn't it, guys? Yeah, those first 70-odd laps were really, well, there's no other way to say it, really, really boring and frustrating. So, yeah, it was nice to have some excitement at the end there, but yeah, definitely some interesting driving and, as I can see, some interesting opinions already flowing out as well.
Absolutely. Look, always hard to form an opinion when you're driving the car. It's not until you can go and look at those replays a few times and digest it that everything comes into play. Well, we saw you staying out in that final run. You were one of the few cars to stick it out at the end, because obviously it looked like you were safe on fuel.
Yeah, I was. I knew I pitted late enough to make it to the end, so yeah, I was surprised when a few of the guys around me went down pit road because they pitted the same lap I did, and yeah, I found that a bit bizarre, really, because that definitely wasn't going to be the last restart, and yeah, it wasn't. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's just all a bit weird, really.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange end, and I think a few people were just a little bit touchy on fuel, and it just seems like a few people really messed up their strategies with that early stop as well. We saw a lot of cars coming in before the lap 30 mark, and it just snowballed after that. But you managed to extend your stints and keep yourself looking like if it was going to run green, that you were safe to the end.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first run was, definitely a bit how you going because I only I only realised halfway through the first stint what the fuel range was, and yeah, that's why I took the opportunity to go down when I had the chance. So yeah, yeah, that first stint was a bit hairy, but yeah, definitely made the effort throughout the rest of the race to just save fuel, do the percentage things, I guess you can call them, and just give myself the best shot to be there at the end, and yeah, I was there at the end, so yeah, it worked out quite well in that regard.
Absolutely, and well, I mean, you sort of managed to avoid most of the carnage at the end. We saw you just having a little bit of a wobble, but it looked like everything just opened up in front of you, and a third place was just handed to you a little bit on a platter. But what was your mindset coming into that final lap? If that sort of incident didn't happen in front of you, what were you planning on doing?
Probably jumping up high, to try and get the run around the outside because yeah, just for whatever reason, quite a few guys in this league are more than happy to just follow leader all the way to the checkered flag. But I'm definitely not one of those people. So yeah, I was going to jump up, as soon as into the middle lane as soon as I was clear. Um, but yeah, I guess I'll never know if anyone was going to come with me or anything.
No, it's always the big what ifs in those situations. But getting a podium tonight, a good way to get back into the seat as well. It's been a rough playoffs for you, but it's good to see you getting back on the podium here tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah, been one of it's been the most frustrating year, well, for all of them, Tari, because yeah, all four of us have really had our own issues and to deal with, and yeah, the results have definitely taken a hit as a result. I mean, Edward's situation is well documented. Toby's situation is well documented. Daniel's, struggling with late night starts and raising, a family at the same time. So yeah, the four of us, we're all competitive, and yeah, we're all definitely very frustrated. At how this year's gone, but it's obviously it just wasn't meant to be, and yeah, we'll come back with a fresh mindset next year. That's for sure.
No, absolutely. Hopefully, 2024 will be a lot easier for all of you. Look, congratulations tonight, JCW. Before I let you go, the usual thing, love for shout outs. Go for it, mate.
Yeah. Shout out to you and Mark in the commentary box. Doing another great night of commentary again tonight. Shout out to Matt Hunter with all the camera and technical work to get the stream running. Shout out to all the ANZCAR admins. As well for maintain the league and keep putting this show on week after week, 3 times a week. Um, Shout out as well to my teammates, Ed, who's probably asleep in a lecture somewhere. Toby, hope all the best. Hope everything's going better for you, mate. Um, Also, Daniel as well. And yeah, shout out to our sponsors as well, Growth Odyssey, Fully Flawed, and Turbo Alpha Japan for supporting us through what's been a bit of a lean year by our standards.
Always good. Hopefully, we'll see you back up on that top step soon. Thank you so much, JCW. Keep yourself well, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon.
Thank you, guys.
JCW there.
I was just going to, sorry, Carl, I was just going to say, with comments like that, he can come back to the booth anytime.
Look, always nice. We always like somebody giving us a compliment. Next up, it is, well, a man that is no stranger to the booth. It's Mr. Andrew Dyson. Dyso, welcome back to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P2 here at Talladega.
Thanks, guys. How's it going?
It's going well. Well, you weren't too confident coming into this race, but it's turned out pretty well for DPR tonight.
Yeah, it did turn out good. It feels like a bit of a win, but not confident as in I just didn't want to come out here and be the guy that's got the free ticket and wreck somebody or wreck the field or something like that, which I kind of almost maybe was a little bit involved in something. I actually haven't gone back and looked at it yet, but I know I got into the fence at one point at the top and something kicked off. So I don't know if it was kind of two accidents at once or what the go was, but anyway, good to get Neil across the line in the end there. And shame we couldn't get a couple of boys closer up there, but it's kind of the way it played out. We just had to play it best we could, and it worked out best case scenario, really.
It did indeed. I mean, that little moment, it was very touch and go on the two accidents, I've got to say. But look, you had a good run through the rest of the night. And look, coming up to the final part of that race, you guys were working very well together to sort yourselves out to get up to the front.
Yeah, definitely. That was a deal. Like, I mean, as soon as Neil got in front of me, I was kind of like, okay, I know what's going on here. And I basically just said to him, man, wherever you go, I'll go with you as long as there's room for me. Like, yeah, I'll go with you. Because sometimes there can be a scenario where he needs to just leave me behind. And I did say to him, it doesn't matter. So, I didn't care if I ran out of fuel, for example. So, or if the engine blew up. So, as long as I didn't wreck anybody tonight, then that was the main thing that was on my mind.
That was the main goal, and well, goal pretty much achieved. Congratulations tonight, Dyso. Gonna let you head off now and enjoy some rest and relaxation going into the Roval next time out.
Yep. These cars aren't, as I always say, the super awesomest, funnest things to drive on road courses. I think the Gen 6s were probably a little bit more fun, but we'll get out there, have a blast anyway, see how we end up.
Absolutely. Look, congratulations tonight. And any personal shout outs you'd like to give, we'll make Neil do the hard work.
Yeah, for sure. Just a quick one to you guys. And thanks to some of the guys who come out tonight and got amongst it, pump up some numbers. Cheers for that. And looks like the YouTube chat kicked off a bit tonight too. So thanks everyone for jumping in and pumping up the algorithm and all those things. And hopefully you can tune in next week and for a bit of road racing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dice. I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in no time.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
Andrew Dyson there for DPR, and finally for tonight for DPR for a very good night in the office is Mr. Neil Pearson. Neil, welcome back to the booth, mate. Congratulations on the win here at Talladega Super Speedway.
Thank you very much, Carl.
A good night in the office for DPR as well tonight. All of the cars inside the top 10, 3 of the cars inside the top 5, and a 1-2 as well. Not a bad night indeed.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and it's interesting because we're all on different strategies fuel-wise too. So, I was cruising around at the start as slow as I could go, and Dyso and that they were a bit short on fuel, and it was going to be interesting if it stayed green.
Yeah, we were a little bit sad to see a caution come out because there was some interesting things about to happen. It looked like a lot of people were going to struggle to make it to the end, but you managed to extend those stints nicely and definitely didn't look like one of those people that were going to struggle.
No, I was 4 laps to the good with the pace that I was running. So I was going to make a move maybe with 5 to go and just see what happened. But I also know the SRM boys, they were doing the same stuff that I was. And so, I mean, if we had stayed green, I think they would have had me for a 1-2-3 simply because they could have teamed up and it would have been very hard to beat that.
Yeah, it's never easy when the teams gang up on you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about that.
Who wouldn't talk about that kind of thing? Yeah. Look, a super run from you and Dyso at the end there. You worked your way through the traffic nicely to get yourselves to the front of the pack.
Yeah, we did. For some reason, some cars won't hook up well. Like when I had Dave behind me at one stage, and we just could not push. But for some reason, when Dyso's behind me, he can just push me really well, and I can't push him. So, which is good for me because I'll be in front. But yeah, for some reason it seems to be like a netcode thing. Just something happens and it just works for both of us, for me to lead and him to push me from behind.
Oh, I'm sure there's many dirty things I can talk about there, but we won't go into that.
Please do.
Look, a really good job tonight. It was great to see the teamwork as well going on, and look, Daiso did a good job of pushing for once. I mean, it's been a bit touch and go on super speedways for that.
Oh, just Atlanta, but which is the worst track on this service. But yeah, like but Daytona and Talladega, I think he's also pushed me to a win before earlier on in the year, so I can't complain too much.
No, that's it. When he helps you get those wins, you can't complain as much as you want to. But no, it was a really strong night tonight for you guys. Congratulations on the win, and well, that gives you a little bit of security going into the final few rounds of the playoffs.
Definitely, we're both of us now are both locked in for the next round, so that'll be interesting. We get through with the next one being a road course. We'll it's going to be interesting for the other guys, to really see what they can pull out and do what they can do to get through.
Absolutely. Are we going to see you two just cruising around at the back, just having a bit of fun, just letting some other people play on the road course, or is it going to be out for the victory?
Oh, out for the victory, man. We want to win. That's what we're here for, and that's what we like doing. So it's plus it doesn't feel right. I mean, for people who win the road courses, all the time to all of a sudden be at the back. It looks a bit weird. I don't like that sort of stuff. It always should be the best person should be up the front winning, no matter what's happening. I don't like it when people are given wins. So,
that's
like strategically given wins, I should say.
No, that's absolutely true. But if ever you're leading and you want to give me the win, I won't complain. Congratulations tonight, mate. Before I let you go, the usual love, the shout outs to all the fans, to all the sponsors. Go for it, mate. You've earned it tonight for this victory.
Yeah, first off, ANZCAR for the series. You guys for the broadcast. I'll give that a nice watch later on, I think, when I'm at the gym. It's really good to watch watch the racing on the treadmill. It really takes the boredom away. And just simrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoists, Ben Max Mechanical, NP Designs, and Daiso for pushing me to the win, and everyone else, Stevo for his fourth, which is awesome, and Ryan for wherever the hell he finished.
Finished 8th tonight, so not his usual place. You took it. Dyson took it away from him.
Yeah, he's also upset because he was trying really hard for a three-peat, because he won the truck and the Xfinity race, he said. So he was really looking forward to a three-peat and couldn't pull it off.
Next time, I'm sure. Look, congratulations tonight, Neil. Well done indeed, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in no time.
Hopefully.
Neil Pearson there for DPR taking the win tonight. Look, a big thank you to all the drivers, to all our viewers tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. We are going to head off now so Matt can actually get some sleep. A big thank you to Matt Hunter for jumping in after some technical issues. Didn't make it so he could have a night off, which we really wanted to give him tonight because it is about 1 a.m. in New Zealand at the moment. So we're going to head off now. A big thank you for everybody for joining us, and we will see you back next week with some more action at the Roval.